Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Ministers, Opposition Leader, Ministers, Assistant Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, and those joining us in the gallery and online. Nisa Yandra Vinakasaka, Jai Shri Ram, Assalamu Alaikum, and greetings to all. I rise today with humility to respond to His Excellency the President's address that has called for action. I would like to first of all thank the Honorable Prime Minister for placing faith in me to lead the Ministry of Women, Children and Social Protection. A ministry that's very focused on advancing the well-being of our nation's most vulnerable. His Excellency's address has reminded us all of our collective responsibility to ensure that Fijians, irrespective of age, gender or background, has the opportunity to thrive. A nation's progress is measured not only by its economic achievement, Mr. Speaker, but also by the well-being of its people. Over the past 2 years, our ministry has embarked on transformative initiatives that have strengthened the social fabric of our nation. I would like to pay tribute to former Minister Honorable Linda Tambuya for her leadership over the past 2 years. We have delivered impactful programs in social protection, gender equality, and child welfare. I wish to highlight some of our significant achievements and also share new initiatives. The National Development Plan, complemented by Vision 2050, places emphasis on social protection as a key component of its strategy to enhance the well-being of its citizens in creating a socially inclusive society. This will be done by implementing policies that support vulnerable population, including women, children, the elderly, and the persons with disability. The commitment is evident in the government's investment in a range of recurrent social protection programs to protect our people's well-being and build resilience across the life cycle. Our ministry is working closely with the development partners on the social protection reform agenda. Ministry has made significant progress in this space, including adjustments to social assistance allowance, converting food voucher to cash, transforming bus fare program to transport assistance scheme that provides flexibility to older persons aged 70 and above with disabilities to receive cash, and with persons with disabilities to receive cash transport allowance to travel in the preferred mode of transport. The Department of Social Protection under the ministry continues to provide financial assistance to 35,000 vulnerable households and children that are in need for care and protection. Support to 56,000 older persons through the social pension scheme and 13,000 persons who live with disabilities. The e-transport program currently assists 30,000 individuals, and there is 44,000 transport assistant top-ups to older persons over 70 years and persons with disabilities. Fiji has recognized the critical role of social protection in building a shock-responsive system that can support the population in mitigating, adapting, and recovering from the impacts of shock and climate disasters. A significant development is the formulation of Fiji's first adaptive social protection strategy and implementation plan launched in mid-2023. This strategy reflects a proactive approach to social protection, ensuring that systems are in place to support those in need during times of crisis. In the 2024-2025 cyclone season, Ministry is working with relevant partners to pilot the multi-purpose cash transfer anticipatory action project to 15,000 households and parametric insurance project to support selected 2,000 beneficiaries in affected areas. Social Justice Act review is on our legislative agenda. We will also review Fiji's Poverty Eradication Strategy Framework of 1999. The ministry has completed the formulation of Fiji National Policy on Disability and its accompanying 10-year implementation plan. The policy is focused on ensuring inclusion of persons with disabilities in all decision-making processes. The policy addresses issues of accessibility, assistive devices, support services, non-discrimination, community-based inclusive development, and social protection, Mr. Speaker. The policy also tries to address the disability-specific data needs to ensure well-informed policies and interventions for persons with disabilities right across the government. Mr. Speaker, older persons have topped the suicide numbers for the past 3 years. Older persons have contributed to nation building. Many have been neglected as their families move on to greener pastures. Some have acquired disability due to NCDs and are suffering neglect. There are constant concerning reports of elder abuse. The Biennial Conference of Older Persons 2024 has called for review of national aging policy, which will be undertaken this year. This will be followed by the review of Council of Older Persons Act 2012, which is more of an administrative document and needs to incorporate intervention mechanisms to protect the rights of the older persons. Mr. Speaker, late Sister Satyavali, a visionary leader and a former matron of Bar Mission Hospital, had identified loneliness as a major challenge among our senior citizens and had developed Bar Senior Citizen Center in 2001. The center is still running in Bar and creates a space for older persons to come together. Through the National Council of Older Persons, we are rolling out creation of spaces for older persons in each district. When seniors come to urban centers to collect their allowance, we are hoping they could come to a place of networking and be able to access various services, including counseling. We are hoping with regular interaction and support, we can help reduce the numbers of seniors committing suicide, and we invite partners to assist us in facilitating these events around the country. Through district advisory councillors and Thurani Choras, we hope to be able to document those who are confined to their homes and plan visitations and support programs. We are also pleading with faith-based organizations to create spaces and events for senior citizens in their local centers on a regular basis to help with emotional mental well-being of our senior citizens. As our fellow parliamentarians know, after 12 years in the making, we collectively passed two landmark legislation through this parliament in December of last year, the Child Justice Act and the Child Care and Protection Act. These laws represent a new chapter for the children of Fiji, a chapter that will see them protected, supported, and given the chance to thrive in a safer and more nurturing society. The ministry is working to operationalize these laws through the newly established Department of Children and is supporting other ministries on child protection budgeting and the policy changes required to bring the legislation to life. National Coordinating Committee has been revived, and we are working on developing national action plan for prevention of all forms of abuse, all forms of child abuse. With the help of UNICEF, we are already embarking on capacity building work to help develop diversion pathways for children in conflict with law. We are starting to build capacity of community counselors to ensure children who have been victims of abuse get the necessary assistance in healing and rehabilitation beyond just the casework. And we are grateful to UNICEF for getting us that extra help in this area, in this very specialized area. We realize that much of the trauma is intergenerational, and parents who have grown up in abusive homes know no better. We would soon be able to help these parents access positive parenting tools through our parenting app. The well-being of street dwellers is a high priority for our ministry. Through collaboration with key stakeholders, including civil society and faith groups, law enforcement agencies, including interministerial work, we are implementing targeted interventions to support children on the street. Our approach ensures that they receive education, shelter, and social services. Ministry of Youth, we are working in partnership with Ministry of Youth to try and support youth on the street while also work with beggars and older persons. Many of these individuals are provided support and rehabilitation, however, end up on the streets out of their choice. We have found that higher percentage of those on the streets have mental health challenges, often due to drug use, making rehabilitation a challenge. However, we continue to work with other ministries, and our efforts will continue to support them and reintegrate them into families and communities. Mr. Speaker, month of March is dedicated to celebrating our women. 8th March is International Women's Day, and thank you for those who have picked up the pin and worn it today. Tomorrow we have the opening of Women's Expo at the Vodafone Arena. 400 women are participating from around the country. I invite members of the House to make time to visit. There'll be traditional food stalls and competitions to tempt you. Mr. Speaker, gender equality and the empowerment of women are not only fundamental human rights, but also powerful drivers to secure equitable economy and sustainable development across all aspects, from inclusive growth to peaceful societies. In April this year, Fiji will participate in the Pacific Technical Cooperation CEDAW sessions scheduled to take place in Suva during the week starting 7th April. Fiji, alongside Solomon Islands and Tuvalu, will have an exchange with the committee. our ministry and other key government agencies are currently preparing to defend Fiji's CEDAW report. This marks a critical opportunity for us to showcase our progress in advancing women's rights while also identifying areas for further improvement in line with international best practices. The government has prioritized the implementation of the National Action Plan to prevent violence against all women and girls, which outlines a comprehensive whole-of-government and whole-of-population approach to stopping violence. The ministry, through NAP Secretariat, has been working to disseminate messaging on the prevention of violence, as well as support available for women and girls who experience violence. This includes technology-facilitated gender-based violence that is a cause for concern for our women and children. We will be strengthening divisional and district women forums at the grassroots level. This is an essential step towards empowering women and enhancing their access to information on our programs and support systems. The ministry and its key stakeholders are currently developing the Women's Economic Empowerment National Action Plan, indicating government's strong commitment towards unlocking the economic potential of Fijian women and girls and ensuring we address the interconnected issues and challenges that hinder women's economic participation and financial independence. The ministry, since June 2024, has held extensive consultations focusing on critical areas such as entrepreneurship, labor force participation, access to finance, and social protection for women in both formal and informal sectors. The ministry is currently conducting final validation and approval processes and hopes to complete this by May this year. And I'm thankful to the Government of Australia for the financial and technical support towards the WENAP, the National Action Plan on. Government has taken significant strides in institutionalizing gender-responsive planning and budgeting across whole of government, and this effort is amplified by the Institutional Capacity Development Initiative, or ICD, led by the ministry, which works across government sector to build necessary technical skills on application of technical tools, including gender analysis, gender-responsive planning, and budgeting. The ministry wishes to acknowledge the financial support from the Government of New Zealand with the design of ICD Phase 2. We're in the process of finalizing the design and hope to roll out Phase 2 in the 2025-2026 financial year. The Poverty Monitoring Unit has completed 3 divisional impact assessment surveys from the Central, Eastern, and Northern divisions. The team in this financial year is monitoring 8 poverty alleviation programs, namely Social Pension Scheme, Family Assistance Scheme, Women's Economic Empowerment Program for persons living with disability, Housing Assistance for fire victims, Rural Housing Assistance, Solar Home Systems, and grants to organizations for persons living with disability. Contrary to the rhetoric from the other side, the preliminary findings for these programs indicate that there has been significant socio-economic impact on the livelihoods of the intended beneficiaries. In addition, communities have also commended the impact of solar home systems and the rural housing scheme. In this financial year, Ministry has completed 2 REACH missions in the Central and Northern Division, respectively. The REACH program has become a significant awareness initiative by the Ministry and government as a whole, and will continue to coordinate and bring together government and non-government services to the doorsteps of our rural and urban communities. Honourable Speaker, the progress we have made is a result of the unwavering commitment of our government, our development partners, and the tireless efforts of our ministry staff. As we move forward, we remain steadfast in our mission to foster an inclusive, just, and prosperous Fiji. His Excellency has set a clear vision for our nation's future, and we, as the Ministry of Women's, Children and Social Protection, stand ready to play our part to ensure families of Fiji are supported. Mr. Speaker, for various faiths in Fiji, this is a holy time for reflection. I wish Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim brothers and sisters, and blessed and reflective Lent to Christian brothers and sisters. In Hindu tradition, this month is called Fagun. At the end of the month, there is bonfire, signifying defeat of evil Holika by devotee Prahlad. A singing and sharing of colors, and from childhood, we have been told it's a day when all are colored the same. It's time to forgive and let bygones be bygones. Our elders used to say, Jo holy, so holy. What has happened has happened. It is considered a time of new beginning. As Fiji Truth and Reconciliation embarks on its journey, I hope we will take the time to reflect and give the TRC our support, to reflect on our past traumas and choose to heal and move the nation forward with a new narrative of hope. It's very easy to remain in our comfort zone. It's easy to give oxygen to negativity around us. It feeds the insecurity among some. It takes courage to step forward and forgive, to be the change we wish to see. I hope the nation will reflect on the message of unity given to us in His Excellency's address. The choice we make today will shape the destiny of our future generations. With unity, determination, and transformational leadership, we can make our nation a beacon of hope, opportunity, and progress. We owe it to our young and our future generations, Mr. Speaker. I support the motion before the House, Mr. Speaker. Binaka Vakalevu, and may God bless Fiji. Naka.